Ladies and gentlemen, good day and welcome to BSE's Q1 FY 2021 earnings conference call. My name is Margaret and I'll be the moderator for today's conference. As a reminder, all participant lines will be in the listen-only mode and there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions after the presentation concludes. Should you need assistance during the conference call, please signal an operator by pressing star then 0 on your touchtone phone. Please note that this conference is being recorded. I now hand the conference over to Mr. Yogesh Joshi, Head Investor Relations, BSE Limited. Thank you and over to you, sir.
Hello everyone and welcome to BSE's earnings call to discuss Q1 FY21 results. This is Yogesh, Head Investor Relations. Joining us today on this earnings call is the BSE's leadership team consisting of Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Nayan Mehta, Chief Financial Officer, Mr. Samir Patel, Chief Business Officer, Mr. Girish Joshi, Chief Trading, Operations and Listing Sales, Mr. Neeraj Kulshrestha, Chief Regulatory Officer, Mr. Karshit Tavadia, Chief Information Officer. Do note that the conference is being recorded and the transcript of the same will be available on our website. The financial results and investor presentation are also available on our website. I would now request Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan to give a brief overview of the company's performance followed by a question and answer session. Please note that BSE does not provide specific revenue or earnings guidance. Anything said on this call will reflect BSE's outlook for the future or which could be construed as a forward-looking statement must be reviewed in conjunction with the risk that the company faces. With that, I would like to turn the call over to Mr. Ashish Kumar Chauhan.
Thank you, Yogesh. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you, wherever you are. As COVID-19 pandemic continues to ravage economics worldwide, and as various countries continue to go through bouts of lockdown and easing thereof from time to time till a vaccine is found, India also is working to restore normalcy in day-to-day life as much as possible within the constraints imposed by the pandemic. Over past few months, BSE has been able to continue normal operations in spite of migration of almost all human intervention activities to outside office premises, while continuing to innovate and enter into new initiatives. Let me start by providing you with certain updates on our business and operations. BSE has been at the forefront of new innovative products, an exceptional user experience in all of its platforms, especially its Star Mutual Fund platform. BSE Star Mutual Fund platform continues to be the electronic mutual fund investment platform of choice for investors across India. Investment through this platform has been growing steadily over the years to level that even during the last few months when the mutual fund industry has overall been facing negative flows in equity segment, BSE's platform has been receiving net positive inflows in equity segment for the mutual funds. It may be noted that the net equity inflow in mutual funds of rupees 241 crore in June 2020 is due to the net equity inflow of rupees 1882 crore through the Star Mutual Fund platform. The total number of orders processed has risen by 52% to 186 lakhs during the quarter ended June 30, 2020 as compared to 122 lakhs during the quarter ended 30th June 2019. In spite of COVID-19, the platform has processed a record 11.58 lakh transactions on a single day on 13th April 2020, surpassing the previous base record of 10.10 lakh transactions on February 10, 2020. The total number of SIP registered under this segment increased by 51% to 1.78 lakhs for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 from 1.18 lakh for the quarter ended June 30, 2019. The total number of SIP registered under this segment increased by 23% to 5.76 lakhs for the quarter ended 30 June 2020 from 4.67 lakhs for the quarter ended 30th June 2019. The total value of orders processed in the mutual fund segments increased by 57% to 85,000 crores for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 from 54,000 crore rupees for the quarter ended 30th June 2019. BSE has launched BSE Star MF in May 2019 to enable mutual fund distributors process transactions on the go. The app has been well received by the investment community and it has processed over 7 lakh transactions till July 31, 2020. BSE's relentless scaling up of mutual fund distributors and IFS network along with its technology drives the growth in Star MF platform. In spite of social distancing and COVID-19, BSE has appointed 740 IFS and members over the last 4 months, taking their total to 57,413 as on July 31, 2020. This network is over and above BSE's 1,400 members, backed by over 2 lakh authorized representatives covering length and breadth of our country. The income earned in the Star MF segment increased by 19% to 14.19 crore for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 from rupees 11.9 crore for the quarter ended March 31, 2020 as adjusted for previous quarter adjustments. Income earned in this segment has contributed to 17% of the revenue from operations for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 as compared to 12% of the revenue from operations for the quarter ended March 31, 2020. Seeing it differently, the income earned in Star MF segment is equivalent to 85% of the income earned by BSE in its equity segment during the quarter ended June 30, 2020. BSE continues to remain positive on growth of this segment. BSE's market share in this segment for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 stands at 80%. As it has been discussed in earlier calls, the effective rate per process transaction in this segment would be lower in financial year 2020-21. However, the same is expected to be offset by commensurate increase in total number of transactions processed in this segment during the current financial year. Further, BSE also plans to increase its revenue in this segment through value-added services such as e-KYC, commission distribution services, etc. In May 2020, BSE partnered with LIC Mutual Fund for e-KYC services on BSE Star MF platform. The digital KYC process facilitates BSE's member and distributors to ensure zero contact, hassle-free customer onboarding process, especially during this COVID-19 situation. LIC MF is now able to facilitate a complete digital customer onboarding experience to all distributor partners on BSE Star MF platform. The board, in its meeting held today, has given in principle approval for exploration of the possibility of unlocking value in BSE's distribution business of Star MF and appoint a merchant banker for the same. We would like to know that the BSE Ebix Insurance Broking Private Limited, a joint venture of BSE with Ebix FinCorp Exchange Private Limited, has successfully launched health insurance product on June 3rd, 2020 and life insurance product on July 13, 2020, in addition to motor insurance, which was launched on February 7, 2020. As on 31 July 2020, the company has 3290 registered point of sales. The total number of point of sales are more than 7,000. The total premium collected till 31 July 2020 is rupees 78.77 lakhs. The company has issued 1901 policies till July 31, 2020. It is expected that the network of insurance broking business and mutual fund distribution platform shall complement and leverage each other for strong growth over time. BSE holds equity stake of 40% through its subsidiary BSE Investment Limited in this company. India International Exchange Limited, India INX, India's first international exchange based in International Financial Service Center at Gujarat International Finance Tech City, introduced rupee dollar derivatives contracts on May 8, 2020, which was inaugurated by Honorable Finance Minister Srimati Nirmala Sitharaman. The said contract has seen strong interest by market participants, with its average daily turnover increasing to US dollar 2,991 million in July 2020, and average daily number of contracts traded increasing to 98,158 contract in July 2020. Average daily turnover on India INX trading platform for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 was US dollar 1.924 million. Turnover comprised of significant contribution by equity derivative segment. The equity derivative segment contributed to 85% of average daily turnover, and the other segment has contributed to 15% of average daily turnover for the quarter ended 30th June 2020. India INX is the dominant IFSC exchange in GIFT City with the market share of 91% in derivatives trading and 100% in bond listing for the quarter ended June 30, 2020. During the quarter ended June 30, 2020, almost all of Indian issuers of debt securities in the international markets have listed on the India INX's global securities market. As on July 31, 2020, India INX's cumulative turnover since inception crossed US dollar 1 trillion. It has also witnessed an all-time high turnover of over US dollar 4.92 billion on 20th July 2020. The previous all-time high turnover was $4.83 billion on February 27, 2020. The constitution of the IFSC authority in Gandhinagar is a big step towards development of the IFSC as a major international financial hub and growth of exchange therein. The currency derivative segment continues to provide a very liquid platform for trading in currencies. The average daily turnover of currency futures segment for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 was rupees 7920 crore, and the average daily turnover on the option segment for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 was rupees 10,405 crore. BSE's market share for the said period was 31%. Coming to commodity derivative segment, BSE launched options contract on gold and silver on June 1, 2020 and launched world's only almond futures contract on June 22, 2020. In a very short span of time, BSE's almond in shell prices are widely used as reference prices for physical market transactions and helping industry stakeholders with better price marking and quality benchmarking. 16,000 kilos of almond in shell were delivered in the last settlement at BSE. In the commodity derivative segment, BSE facilitates trading in derivatives of gold, silver, Oman crude oil, Brent crude oil, aluminum, zinc, copper, guar seed, guar gum, cotton, turmeric, castor seed, chana, and soybean as well as. The total number of members admitted in this segment is 278. Turnover in commodity derivative segment for the quarter ended 30th June was rupees 32,501 crore and highest turnover of rupees 5,010 crore recorded was on July 29, 2020. The number of companies listed on BSE SME platform has grown by 7% as on July 23, 2020 to 324 companies as compared to 392 companies listed on June 30, 2019. Of the total number of companies listed in BSE Star MF BSE SME platform, 82 companies have migrated to the BSE main board as on June 30, 2020. Total market capitalization of companies listed on SME platform as on July 31, 2020 was rupees 17,747 crore and total funds raised by these companies was rupees 3,279 crore. The companies listed on BSE's SME segment have shown outstanding growth over the last 7 years. The SME IPO index, which was launched on December 14, 2012 with 100 as base, has increased by 1321% to 1421 as on June 30, 2020. BSE's market share in listing companies in SME segment stood strong at 61% as at June 30, 2020. BSE launched platform for electronic book mechanism, BSE Bond, on July 1, 2016. This platform facilitates issuance of debt securities on private basis. Issuers in segment include non-corporate, public as well as private sector in India. During the quarter ended June 30th, 2020, 179 issues have successfully raised over 1.17 lakh crore through this platform. BSE's market share for the said period stand at 58%. BSE continues to be an institution for capital formation in India. The total debt raised under this platform till date has crossed 11.60 lakh crore rupees as on June 30, 2020. The trading volumes in the equity segment at BSE have generally been found to be correlated to the macroeconomic growth and many other factors. As such, certain volatility has been historically observed in the volumes in the segment, which is affected inter alia by the level of activity in capital markets in India. BSE's equity segment has stabilized, and equity derivative segment is also growing, reflecting in the quarter-on-quarter improvement in the operational performance of the company. The average daily turnover during the quarter ended June 30, 2020 increased by 39% to 3724 crore rupees as compared to the rupees 2683 crore during the quarter ended June 30, 2019. In June 2020, pursuant to earlier circulars and recent communication from SEBI, the team members have been advised to execute transactions for its clients at the best available market price and remove trade default preference towards particular exchange inbuilt in the trading interfaces. The team members are required to report compliance to the exchange and SEBI by 31st August 2020. The implementation of the above regulation requirement is expected to positively impact the turnover and liquidity across all trading platforms, including equity trading platform of BSE. Average daily turnover in equity derivative segment for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 was rupees 39515 crore. BSE changed the weekly expiry of contracts to Monday from Thursday in its equity derivatives segment from June 29, 2020. This change has resulted in a transformational increase in turnover in the equity derivatives segment. Since the change in weekly expiry day to Monday, the average daily turnover has increased mainly from rupees 26,196 crore for the month of July 2020, with the highest daily turnover of rupees 52,000 crore on July 30, 2020. BSE shall continue to make further efforts to increase its business in equity derivatives segment. Interoperability amongst clearing corporations facilitates efficient order execution by enabling any order to be executed at more than one exchange and thus reduces the slippage in execution without the need to maintain margins at multiple clearing corporations. As more and more members of the investment community start insisting on base price execution across exchanges from their trading members, a positive impact on the liquidity and turnover on the equity and equity derivative segment is possible. BSE, along with its partners PTC India and ICICI Bank, have filed a petition with the power market regulator CERC on September 7, 2018 for grant of license for setting up a new power exchange. CER approval is awaited. This proposed institutional exchange, subject to necessary regulatory approvals, would leverage on the experience and expertise of its shareholders in their fields, knowledge of the power sector, funding of power projects and associated infrastructure, setting up and running various exchanges and platforms in India, and offer the market participant a credible power trading platform. BSE's stake currently of 41.08% as on June 30, 2020 in the proposed power exchange through its wholly owned subsidiary BSE Investment Limited. The said stake would have to be brought down to 25% post receipt of grant license or even before that as per the terms and conditions imposed by CERC. With respect to listing of securities, the number of companies listed with their equity capital on our exchange, which are available for trade, are 3913 as on July 31, 2020. BSE has the highest number of companies listed on any exchange around the globe. Market capitalization of companies listed on BSE is about rupees 147 lakh crore as of date. The total number of registered investors registered on BSE exceeds 5.23 crore. Further, under BSE's framework for listing of commercial paper for listing of commercial papers issued on or after November 27, 2019, 139 issuers have done 1742 issuances of commercial papers and have successfully listed commercial papers to the tune of rupees 6.75 lakh crore on BSE. On a consolidated basis, the profit attributable to shareholders of the company for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 has increased to rupees 33.15 crore as against loss of rupees 1.31 crore for the previous quarter. The total revenue for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 has grown by 4% to rupees 162.11 crore as against 155.79 crore for the previous quarter. Operational expenses has been decreased by 3% to rupees 111.05 crore. The EBITDA has increased by 25% to rupees 51.06 crore for the quarter ended June 30, 2020. As against rupees 40.80 crore for the previous quarter, EBITDA margin stands at 31% for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 as against 26% for the previous quarter. On a standalone basis, the profit attributable to shareholders of the company for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 has increased to rupees 32.34 crore as against rupees 1.59 crore for the previous quarter. The total revenue for the quarter ended June 30, 2020 has grown by 6% to rupees 138.08 crore as against 130.51 crore for the previous quarter. Operational expenses have been decreased by 6% to rupees 90.28 crore. The EBITDA has increased by 37% to rupees 47.80 crore for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 as against rupees 34.87 crore for the previous quarter. EBITDA margin stands at 35% for the quarter ended 30th June 2020 as against 27% for the previous quarter. Interoperability among clearing corporations was implemented from June 2019. After implementation of interoperability, the members have option to choose the clearing corporation to clear their trades. Based on their selection, the trades of BSE are cleared by respective clearing corporations. As per regulatory requirements, BSE needs to contribute to core HGF of all the clearing corporations through which its trades are cleared. BSE has already contributed rupees 153 crore to Indian Clearing Corporation, which is in excess by 123 crore rupees as compared to the requirement as of June 30th, 2020 of the above mentioned circular related to core SGF. Based on the transactions executed on BSE, which are cleared by other clearing corporations, BSE's requirement to contribute to core SGF is rupees 18 crore as on 30th June 2020. The board of the company has represented SEBI to allow utilization access contribution by BSE, lying with ICCL, to the requirement of core SGF contribution to other clearing corporations. The company has also represented to SEBI that the contribution of exchanges toward core SGF of clearing corporation may be allowed to be contributed in the form of bank guarantee or fixed deposit or government securities. The company is awaiting approval from SEBI in this regard. In view of the above, no contribution has been made to other clearing corporations, and the company has not taken any charge for the contribution to core SGF in the current quarter statement of profit and loss. As on July 31, 2020, the total balance lying in settlement guarantee fund maintained by Indian Clearing Corporation Limited is rupees 441 crore, of which, as mentioned above, rupees 153 crore has been contributed by BSE. BSE's consolidated net worth as on 30th June 2020 stands at rupees 2460 crore and standalone net worth stands at rupees 2199 crore. Before I conclude, I wish everyone in this call to stay safe with their near and dear ones in COVID-19 times. The situation remains unpredictable and would remain so till efficacy of treatment is established. BSE has been able to operate and continue with its new initiatives in these trying times. It continues to look forward to pursuing growth and growth opportunity in the best interest of its shareholders. With this overview, let me welcome you all to once again and invite all of you for question and answer. Before that, happy Raksha Bandhan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now begin the question and answer session. Anyone who wishes to ask a question may press star and 1 on the touchtone telephone. If you wish to remove yourself from the question queue, you may press star and 2. Participants are requested to use handsets while asking a question. Anyone who would like to ask a question, please press star and 1 at this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we will wait for a moment while the question queue assembles. The first question is from the line of Praveen Kurwa from ICICI Securities. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Congratulations on a good set of numbers. Sir, I just wanted to know what will be the cash as on Q1 FY20, cash and cash equivalents, free cash which is available with the exchange.
So, Praveen, our total cash which is available on books is around 1400 crores.
Okay. And sir, if the small follow-up, sir, I just wanted to know, I came late. So, was there anything mentioned about Star MF platform apart from the regular operational data?
Yes.
Value unlocking. Yeah, value unlocking remains.
Yes. Yeah, board has given in principle approval to explore the value unlocking.
So, you will be demerging the Star MF platform, right?
Only after necessary, if board finds it useful. And
okay.
Also approvals are available.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. I'll get back in queue. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikas Kasturi from Focus Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello, sir. Sir, I had a question regarding Star MF. Sir, in the previous call, you had mentioned that because of COVID, you were reducing the transaction charges to the AMC. But in the earnings call in the past years, you have mentioned that we save approximately 300 to 400 rupees per transaction. That is, if the transaction were to happen on Star MF, the AMC would stand to gain about 300 rupees. So my question is, sir, why did we reduce the transaction cost to the AMC at this time? I mean, we had a great amount of value to the AMC, so why did we do it?
Basically, there is a competitive pressure because NSE earns a lot of money on their other businesses, so they tend to subsidize the newer businesses to a level where it becomes hugely non-competitive for everyone to do those businesses. Although BSE Star MF is a much larger business compared to what NSE does, despite that, NSE offered very extremely low amounts of transaction charges to Association of Mutual Funds, who together with NSE suggested that we need to match that, otherwise they will move over to NSE, and because of that we had to match those rates. We have not reduced the charges because of COVID. In fact, we continued the older charges because of COVID. But in future, we have agreed due to this competitive pressure and MFI's collective pressure on BSE.
Okay. And so we are now charging the lower levels now, sir, at the moment?
We will start charging sometime soon, yes.
Okay. And all the AMCs are now paying, am I correct, sir?
Everyone is paying, and they have some of them have dispute on certain other areas for the past. Going forward, at least MFI is committed that they will not have, anyone will not raise these disputes. But MFI is able to collectively reduce the charges to be paid to us, but not able to handle the disputes of their own members as and when they raise. So it's a bit of a mixed bag.
Sir, if I may ask one more question. So in the last call, you had given us an update saying that you will do the sort of the clearance and settlement of the payments which have to come from the AMCs to the distributors. Is there any update on that, sir?
So we are in the process of launching that service. The software has been tested, and it should happen sometime in this quarter.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll come back in the queue.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rohit Poti from Marshmallow Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for giving such a detailed update in the beginning. So my first question is, given the large amount of free cash still available, what is the board and the management's intent with this available free cash?
Basically, the current amount of cash is in a way regulatory capital, because to run an exchange, you need to project a very strong balance sheet, and that's what these amounts are. Over last 3 years and literally 4 AGMs, BSE has distributed as dividend and the buyback around 1,277 crore rupees already. So currently there is no proposal to buy back, if you have that question, and a large amount of money has already been distributed.
Okay, fair enough. So as of now, there is no buyback, but we'll continue to do the 95% of standalone earning payout as going forward.
More than 90% is the policy, but the board has been basically giving approval for more than 95%.
Okay, great. So my next question was on Star MF. I know it's quite premature, but what are the avenues that the board and the management is open to? Will it be a demerger sort of a thing, or will it be a plan where you put it in a separate company and sell a small portion as a strategic stake, sort of like what you did with ICICI with INX?
It is early days. We don't know what would be the contours and if at all it happens. So the board has given in principle approval. We will appoint a merchant banker who will discuss with market participants and figure out what could be the proposals that could be there presented to the board. And once board takes a decision, then only we'll be able to figure out which side of the what kind of forward path would be there. Currently, it is too early to say.
Understood. That's helpful. And my third question is on the debt platform. So we seem to have built an exceptionally strong debt platform both on the in the domestic exchange as well as in the international exchange. Even the commercial paper platform you mentioned, I think more than 6 lakh crore number over the last few months that companies have been able to raise on the platform. So do you think this the debt platform, the BSE bond, the commercial paper, and all the platforms together are the next closest to being monetized among all the optionalities that are there in BSE right now?
In a way, yes, but what we have observed also is that NSE is able to basically cut the prices where they are losing, especially new markets, and also spoil the monetization opportunities for other people also. So somewhere on the line, their cross-subsidization is basically hurting the entire market everywhere. And so it remains to be seen how we are able to basically monetize despite very, very strong anti-competitive, what I call unreasonable competition and complete annihilation of prices by the sort of incumbent in other businesses.
Understood. My last question, sir. It's very heartening to see the volumes on the equity derivatives over the last quarter. Just curious to know if there is a liquidity enhancement scheme there, and if that were to be withdrawn, will we continue to see? Will the volumes continue to be this strong, or do you see this scheme required to be continued much longer?
Basically, there are several aspects to this. One is earlier also we had some liquidity enhancement schemes, but not much volumes were there. The current scheme is also not significantly different in terms of monetary payout vis-a-vis what earlier was there. Only thing is that we changed the index to Sensex 50, which is closer to Nifty 50, I think by 200-300 points. The difference is not very high, and coefficient of correlation also is very, very good. So because of that probably, and second is that we have changed the expiry, weekly contract expiry to Monday instead of Thursday, which was basically both were Me Too contracts in a way. This will become slightly offsetted contracts, and these two reasons might be the reason, but one never knows how this thing happens. In terms of if we reduce or if we take away the liquidity enhancement scheme, will this volumes continue? It remains to be seen, but there are other ways to monetize once the volumes pick up and more and more people come to BSE for trading on derivatives.
Thank you, sir. Once again, very happy with the answers, detailed answers that you've given. I'll get back to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Vora from Mission Holdings. Please go ahead.
So, congratulations for your superb results, and I see every front BSE is improving. I have a question around this operating income and the SGF. So what is the difference between other operating income and income from investment, and did we put any amount in the SGF in this quarter?
So Pritesh, when you say other operating income, it is basically the income which is with respect to certain ancillary support services. In consolidated, it would mean some amount received towards penalty and all those things. Sorry, MTPL income from our IT subsidiary, then certain training income from our this education subsidiary, BSE Institute, and which are basically subsidiary income and not related to exchange. But they are operating because they are consolidated. And as far as Code SGF is concerned, we have not contributed anything from standalone in this current quarter. However, ICCL has contributed about 6 crores from their standalone books towards SGF.
Right. And I see a jump in the income from investment and deposit. Is it due to the forming of the yield of the investment papers?
Yeah, Pritesh. This quarter you will see this effect in almost all companies. There's a very good mark-to-market revenue which every company will have to book, especially in debt segment. And our also basically the amount which you see jump is basically reflecting the mark-to-market movement.
Okay. And also you are reporting a good derivative volume performance over the last couple of quarters. What is our total income out of this derivative segment, equity derivatives? And what is the breakup between futures and options in this derivative, index options and futures?
It's almost the entire thing is index options, and the income is zero because we don't charge, in the sense we also pay for the order flow. So I think before the person asked question on the liquidity enhancement scheme, that is basically payment for the order flow. And so it's a little bit of investment we are making people give two-way quotes in market making and other things. And that's where basically we are not currently earning anything from the equity derivatives market.
So it is purely index options, index futures and options, is it?
Yes. Currently that is how it is working out. It's a Sensex 50 index options.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. I'll come in the queue.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Utkarsh Ritesh Kumar Salapurwal from Damos Capital. Please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please.
So why it is getting delayed in getting approval from CERC? It is 2 years since we have applied for the approval.
Basically, CERC has an approval process by which they allow people to raise objections, and the competition in this field, Indian Energy Exchange and Power Exchange of India Limited, both had raised their objections, which were being heard over last 2 years almost, and now the CERC has given a framework by which we have to comply with the regulation for shareholding within next 8 weeks, after which they will again take up the matter.
And CERC in the recent draft has announced has paved a way for equity futures in India. So would we be launching equity futures in our commodity derivative exchange?
Yeah, electricity futures is what I think you mean. And as and when the regulations are framed by SEBI, certainly BSE would try to also be in that market.
Okay.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Pankaj Kaur, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hi, sir. Thank you for giving me the time. I'm an individual investor. My question is very basic. I have invested my hard-earned money into this company. So I just want to know what company is going to increase the shareholder wealth. I see the results which are there in public domain. We all know how the revenue and the profitability is going on. And I have two sub-questions to this. Part one is BSE, considering the platform and the technology that you have deployed, looking at redefining the mission and vision, considering the changes which are happening in the world all over, and even considering the name change so as to truly reflect the global picture. Point number two, I heard about the liquidity enhancement scheme. That's a positive step. But going forward, will BSE have a plan in place to make profit from the equity derivative and cash segment, which are the biggest market movers? Because if I look at the nearby two exchanges, MCX and Indian Energy Exchange, they have actually increased the shareholders' wealth in last 3 to 4 years. Whereas in case of BSE, for investors like me, the wealth has actually gone down by 30 to 40%. Thank you.
Yeah, you mean to probably say that shareholders' prices, the share prices have gone up or not. BSE does not have much control over share prices of its own because the shares are bought and sold by other people other than the management or board of directors. The management is not even allowed to buy shares in BSE stock itself, nor they have any stock options. So this is basically a matter of disclaimer that share prices have very different dynamics vis-a-vis having the shareholders' wealth. As I said earlier in my interactions, BSE has distributed the total amount of dividend and also buyback of around 1,277 crore rupees. So if you look at the BSE's total market capitalization at the time of listing was around 4,400 crore rupees. And if you remove the approximately 1,300 crore rupees, then you are talking about 3,100. Currently, BSE has around 2,400 crore of consolidated net worth, and within which The CDSL 20% shares are, I think, at around 47 crore rupees. And the building, the entire building is, and there are other buildings also in Hyderabad and all, around 35 crore rupees. So the total wealth is much more than, at least on paper, is much more than the amount I specified. And there are many other investments which BSE has in BSE Institute, BSE Marketplace Technologies, and so on and so forth. And the platforms which it has created on BSE Bonds or BSE Star MF, India International Exchange, and so on and so forth, are far valuable than currently market is giving it value for. But that is not for us to say because we are only a management. The other shareholders will have to look into it. In terms of creating the new cash flow, you might recall that when BSE started the currency futures, BSE started around 7-8 years after NSE started in 2014. NSE had started in 2007 along with MCX-SX, and they also fought the same battles of cross-subsidizing by NSE against MCX-SX, for which MCX-SX also won a competition commission case, and now it is in Supreme Court. And BSE started in 2014. BSE did not charge in the beginning for the currency futures and options, but now BSE charges some amounts so that there is a way to start charging later on if you have the liquidity. So BSE is currently trying to get liquidity in equity derivatives. You might have also observed that equity derivatives and equity go hand in hand. And so equity derivatives volume, if they increase, the equity volumes also may increase going forward. So that's why equity derivatives is very important for BSE's sort of going forward. Of course, the Star MF and other areas, India International Exchange, will continue to progress. But just for the sake of getting volumes in equity and equity derivatives are also very important for BSE. That's why BSE is working on this.
Thank you, sir. Just to add on, as you rightly mentioned, so equity is the main business. So is BSE trying to influence brokers so that the more business can come? And point number 2 I asked about was on the disruption that is going on. Is BSE looking at something like global footprint, say for example, considering some name change or vision mission statement change so that more business come? I didn't ask specifically on share price, but yes, share price reflects the profitability and the revenue and the operations. Thank you.
So basically, the name change is not on the cards. BSE name is world famous, and that's where BSE doesn't have any current plans to change its name. The vision and mission you might have seen are now much broader in terms of being a financial supermarket. 10 years back, BSE was only in the business of stock market, that is share market, and nothing else. Today, you might have observed that BSE is pretty much there in every segment there is, in commodities, agricultural commodities, bullion metals, base metals, in bond distribution, in IPOs, in every aspect, including equity derivatives, currency derivatives, and all. So BSE already has shifted and also expanded its horizon. It has also set up one exchange called India International Exchange, which is actually an international exchange which trades in dollars, and international participants are allowed to trade there in US dollar and not in Indian rupees. So it's also, in a way, in BSE's international foray into, in a way, of course, in a much lower cost, because if you want to set up new exchanges in other parts of the world which are already developed, the cost of running exchange is very high, and the probability of success may not be that high. So effectively, you might be actually running a very large cost sort of in a very short time. And that's where BSE has done very calibrated activities in terms of going international, as you rightly said. It has also gone into many areas other than purely stock, that is share market related activity. And that's where I think BSE will continue to do that. The vision mission are basically to use BSE's technology prowess to ensure it goes into the maximum number of areas and also generates the value for its shareholders.
Thank you. Any other question, Mr. Khan?
No, thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Amit Chandra from HDFC Securities. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. Yeah, sir. Thank you. So first, related to the annual listing fees. So we have seen sharp drop in the annual listing fees. So maybe this is because of COVID. So can you please throw some light on what led to the sharp decline, and can we see it reversing to the previous levels from the next quarter onwards, or there are some higher number of defaults there?
Amit, Nayan here.
Yeah.
It's like this that last year we suspended many companies in the last quarter. As per the current tax regulations, we have to go on billing them if we are providing them service, and we have to then accordingly make a provision because they are defaulting in payment. But because of some change in the regulations which we work with SEBI, we were allowed to suspend many of these companies, around 1,000 of them, and that's why the fees from those companies we are not booking in the current year. Accordingly, the provision also will come down at the year end for the default.
Okay. So, this will be the new base, or will it reverse to the...
Yeah, actually, Amit, the base is the same only. Earlier we used to book income and provide for it. Now we are not booking income and will not have to provide for it.
Okay. Okay, sir. And so my next question is on the platforms like the commodity and transaction. So we have been trying hard to gain market share both on the currency and on the commodity side, and we have been spending. So if you can quantify what expenses we are doing on quarterly or on an yearly basis, and despite all our efforts in the commodity side, also we have not been able to gain. In fact, we have lost the competition has gained market share. So any thoughts that we are trying to get into segments we're spending, but despite Star MF, we have not been able to really compete in other segments. So that is my one question. And other is on the INX. So now we have actually reached a level where there has been around 1 lakh transactions per day, and maybe you can throw some light on when we can go and start charging there, because it's been quite a while that we are spending, and it's impacting our operating profits.
So basically, I think in commodity derivatives, contrary to your perception, now we are the second largest commodity exchange in the country, and the third largest exchange is around 25% of our volume or less. Second, basically what had happened is recently SEBI allowed options in goods. Earlier, the options were allowed on the futures. Now they are allowed on the straight away the underlying, like gold and silver and all. So we have launched those contracts, and we have seen quite a lot of traction. Even if you see overall, the STT on options is pretty much around, on a notional basis, around 1 or 2% of the future. So people prefer trading in options in even securities market, and we believe that because the differential in the CTT is also equally bad, and that's why people may finally move towards commodities options and not futures. And that's where currently we are the largest marketplace for commodities options in India, and the second largest overall for the notional value. So this is just basically for your understanding that your perception was wrong. Having said that, India International Exchange has the same issue, is that the NSE's own exchange called NSE FSC is charging zero. In fact, they are also paying for the order flow, and that's where we also have to pay for the order flow. Until the time they are able to subsidize and nobody stops them from being so anti-competitive, this will continue. And that's why basically in certain areas where we become large, like in Star MF, we started charging when NSE was not charging. And there also they are still acting anti-competitive. So we have many areas in which we have gained success in terms of the market share, but we have not been able to gain the monetary aspect of it, because of the NSE's anti-competitive activity in all these areas. And that is where basically we have, in a way, this quarter we are also hoping to take up with the regulator, requesting them to look into the issues and ensure that fairness prevails going forward. And once that happens, probably we'll see how the charging in different markets, including India International Exchange, can happen.
Also, sir, can I? So also to give a perspective about the options on goods contract launched on the BSE in the Gold Mini, there is a 100 grams contract. Today, at this point of time, month on month, BSE has 58.8% market share as far as the Gold Mini contracts are concerned.
Okay. So we are not still charging on commodities and on the future also. By now, by what time we would consider a baseline in terms of volume that we can reach this volume, then we can start charging, because anyways what we have observed in the market, that the exchange charges doesn't impact a volume to a high extent, or the exchange charges a very small part of the overall trade. So maybe because NSE has the NSE has the cushion to fund these kind of new initiatives, but we don't have that we don't have that kind of cushion. So maybe we can start charging, and at least we should break even in this initiative. So that was
premature charging may actually end up bringing away liquidity. So what you are saying to some extent is your experience of what I call success bias. That monopolies are able to do that. Once the BSE becomes monopoly, it might be able to do that. Till the time, we'll have to basically keep on struggling, right? First it becomes monopoly and becomes so large that other people cannot even come closer, then it may be able to charge some things, So that's why your your suggestions are most welcome, but in some ways they are a little out of way.
Okay, sir. Thanks and all the best.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Vikas Kasturi from Focus Capital. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Sir, in your answer to one of the previous participants, you mentioned about some of the real estate that BSE has. So is there any plan of unlocking that real estate value, the one that you're not using? Is there any plan on in the annual, sir?
No, BSE does not have any plan to do anything on real estate yet.
Okay. The buildings that you're not using, you don't plan to sell it or something like that, sir?
We have one large building which is there. Half of it we are using, more than half. And the rest has stockbroker sitting there inside.
Okay. All right, sir. Sir, just coming to Star MF, sir, you already have about, I think, 80-90% market share in Star MF in that category. So you have the market power, sir. So why would you go about reducing prices, sir? I mean, I'm unable to get that part.
This is not a liquidity-based market. This is a distribution-based market. And there, MFI and NSE combine to push us into a corner to say that they are all going to move en masse, which would have created a disruption overall. That's why we have to start charging less to match NSE prices.
Sir, but my limited understanding is that the distributors actually love your platform, and it would be very hard for a distributor to actually move from, say, Star MF to NSE's platform. Is my understanding correct, sir?
In some ways, yes, I would also love to believe that. And at the same time, some large ones may be enticed by other people to also go with them if the sort of MFI decides and things like that, right? So there are more complexities than we think there are, right?
Okay.
And so life is not so easy.
Okay. All right, sir. Sir, and would you be able to share how much does Star MF contribute to the bottom line?
Ma'am?
Yeah. So on a pre-tax basis, it will be around 40 to 50%. Post-tax, it will be you have to deduct 20%, 30% from that.
Sure. So 40 to 50% of BSE is bottom line.
No.
Before tax.
Before tax, yeah.
No, Nayan, he's saying the Star MF, the total, if he's saying that Star MF is contributing to 50% of our profits, no.
No, not the Star MF revenue, of the Star MF revenue. Otherwise,
that's why I'm saying he's asking a question of the total revenue vis-a-vis Star MF's sort of total profit versus Star MF profit and all. So you are trying to...
It'll be around 15 to 16 crores at the most.
Basically, the total profit might be in that range, 15 crores or so, from the Star MF. Okay, the others would be expenses evening out on many sides. Okay.
Right.
Yes, and that's on annualized basis.
Right. So 1.5, correct, sir?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Okay. And sir, in the case of a direct mutual fund transaction, so is there any difference to Star MF if it is a direct transaction versus a regular transaction?
For the Star MF to charge, we don't differentiate between whether it is a direct or indirect. We allow both. And there are now SEBI has allowed like MF utility, large corporates to also trade directly through BSE Star MF. So that service will be launched this quarter. But the numbers are very few there. Okay. It may get a lot of volume in terms of value, but we charge on the number, So the numbers are few there, but it's just that we also are going to start that additional service.
So what I meant was, if you charge, let's say, 5 rupees per transaction to the AMC, that is irrespective of whether it is direct or regular. That was my question.
Correct. Okay. We do not differentiate.
Okay. And one last question, sir. On the INX, at some point, Mr. Bala had said that we had gathered, I think we had cornered about 6% of the USD INR derivatives market, I think within the first month. What would it be now, sir?
It might be similar.
Okay. This is as compared to SGX and DGCX, is it?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you, sir. That's all I had.
Thank you.
Thank you. We would request participants to please limit your question to 2 at a time. The next question is from the line of Deepak Mehta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Good evening, sir. Thank you for taking my question. My question is that there was news that retail investor can access through direct market access. They will have the access. I think right now it's not available. So, do you think it's a huge opportunity for BSE?
No, as and when, if at all, if it is allowed, BSE being a great brand name and having a superior technology, we do similar things in mutual funds and all. You might have seen that.
Yes, sir.
BSE is in a way, what I call well equipped to or well placed to do this. But it remains to be seen as and when, and we are not even aware of the contours of what is being discussed.
There was a news that, retail investor can directly trade from platforms such as NSE, BSE. They don't have to open the account with brokers.
Correct.
I think it's a huge opportunity. So directly, we can add clients to our system without any broker or dealers. So
it remains to be seen whether it will be allowed or not. But if it is allowed, then BSE has a much better system to handle all that.
So I think as a proactive company or, as a financial institution, we can develop something similar. If the opportunity comes, we can ready with the right platform and good, technique, like good apps and software system. So that was my question, sir.
Yes, please. Thank you.
So, and can I ask one more question, sir?
Yes, please.
And how much interest and website hit you are seeing for this BSE ABEX insurance aggregator platform which you have recently launched? Is there any marketing or advertisement you are going to do to promote the platform?
Currently, during COVID period, we were just launching it because of the fact that we started in February beta basis and then in March this happened. And so we have been a little slow in kind of ramping up because we have not been able to hugely market it in any way, but we have taken the time to connect to various insurance companies, launch all the products, and so on and so forth. So it's basically still once this COVID thing in a way recedes, we will be able to go out to the market. Currently, it's all word of mouth, and 7,000 odd people have registered. Some of them have almost 5,500 plus people have become. They have passed the minimum criteria and all in terms of study material and exams and all. And so those people are allowed to place these orders on behalf of the customers.
Okay. So I think it will directly compete with Policybazaar, right, sir?
In a way, Policybazaar is a pure web play. Ours is a little bit of a physical play because the distributor point of sale person is actually selling by showing different aspects of the policies to the customer, right? So there are a lot of differentiation between the two. Policybazaar doesn't help you in finally executing the transaction because they take you to the website of the respective company. While as here, our person is able to also not only take you to the company, but also pay and give you the policy in your hand within few minutes or within few seconds.
Okay.
Right? So it's a bit of a different thing.
Okay. So can I say that as an individual or as a layman, I can directly buy a policy from this application or this platform, or I need to go through one of the broker or insurance agent?
Yes, insurance, which are called POSP, point of sale persons. But good thing about this, any layman can become also our point of sale person if he satisfies some criteria. So if people are unemployed or want to have additional income, they may be able to become literally point of sale persons on BSE at no extra cost to themselves. And then they can sell the insurance to everyone in any area, not only in life, but general health, auto, and everything.
Okay, so it's a interesting business model. So what would be the margin for BSE Ebix? So what would be the business model for revenue profit?
It's a distribution model. It's not an exchange framework. So it will get money as its distributor, and then naturally people who are selling will get the maximum out of it. Some small portion will be kept by the company.
Okay. So is not it possible layman can directly purchase from this platform, so with some extra benefits or with some, because Policybazaar also I think they have margin of 8 to 10%, and when they sell the policy they have good margin.
I have my doubts because if that was the case, people would not be making huge losses. Right, but you never know what it means. In our case, ours is what we call point of sale person model. There is a web model. There are different models by the regulators. So this does not allow a direct connectivity to the customer, right? So currently, I don't think it is possible for us to allow directly. Of course, we have a broking license, so we can also go to the person directly as a company, not through POSP. But currently, we do not have people to do that. We are currently focusing only on making life easier for the agents to become agents of multiple companies in multiple areas, not only, say, life insurance, only particular company. No, not that way. We are trying to give you everything under in same computer, and you can compare and show it to your clients and give them the best service. So and there are CRM systems involved in everything, which is given in that web-based platform. It's a browser-based platform, but it's not for direct customers.
Okay. So if anyone registers as an agent and he sells the policy through BSE platform, so is he getting any commission from BSE Ebix, or he will be getting from insurance company?
He will be getting from BSE Ebix, which he does get today also, every month.
And generally, what is the percentage he would get, sir, as a commission?
Boss, it will vary from company to company, and it will vary from business to business. But my request is, currently I am trying to explain the entire business model of BSE Ebix to you, and there are other people in the queue. My request would be to allow other people also to have chance of asking about the previous
Sure. Sorry, sir. Thank you for your presentation. Best wishes for the rest of the year, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, in order to ensure that the management will be able to address questions from all participants, we would request you to please limit your question to 2 at a time. Thank you. The next question is from the line of Neeraj Kamtekar, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
हेलो.
Yes, please.
हाँ सर, जैसे ये क्वार्टर में हमारी इक्विटी टर्नओवर ईयर ऑन ईयर 36% से बढ़ा है, पर फिर भी हमारा इक्विटी जो ट्रांजैक्शन इनकम है वो कम हुआ है, ऐसा क्यों?
ये क्वार्टर में हम लोग ने जो इनकम बुक किया है दैट इज ऑन द इक्विटी सेगमेंट का टर्नओवर पे है. लास्ट क्वार्टर में हम लोग का फिजिकल सेगमेंट में थोड़ा बहुत ट्रांजैक्शन हुआ था जहाँ पे हम लोग का चार्जेस हाई है, और फिजिकल सेटलमेंट जब करते हैं तो हम लोग का जो ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस हाई होने के कारण हम लोग का इनकम 6 करोड़ से ज्यादा था लास्ट ईयर. वो अभी सीबी ने बातें कहा कि फिजिकल सेटलमेंट बंद करो और खाली डिवाइड सेटलमेंट ही होना चाहिए, तो उसके बाद ये फिजिकल सेटलमेंट बंद हो गया. और अभी आप अगर लास्ट टाइम पे 6 करोड़ कम करेंगे तो आपको दिख जाएगा कि हम लोग का अराउंड इनकम भी 30% जितना बढ़ गया है.
मतलब हमने लास्ट ईयर में फिजिकल इससे किया था, इससे हमारे चार्जेस ज़्यादा थे.
हाँ, फिजिकल सेटलमेंट होता है ना, तो वहाँ हम लोग के चार्जेस ज़्यादा है, वहाँ का जो रेट है हमारा ज़्यादा है, लेकिन वो सेटलमेंट जो मोड है वही बंद हो गया है. तो अभी क्या होता है कि भाई वो हम लोग को रिपीट नहीं होना, वो वन टाइम इनकम था उस टाइम का.
हाँ, बट लास्ट क्वार्टर से भी हमारा ये बढ़ा है.
अच्छा, लास्ट क्वार्टर, अगर मार्च क्वार्टर की बात कर रहे हैं आप, तो मार्च क्वार्टर में मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मार्च क्वार्टर में हम लोग का थोड़ा दूसरा सिक्योरिटी सर्विसेज का इनकम आया था, विच वॉज पर्टेनिंग टू मेंबरशिप सब्सक्रिप्शन. जो हम लोग का क्या होता है ना कि हम लोग रिबेट देते हैं मेंबर्स लोग को कि अगर उनका ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस ज्यादा होगा तो हम लोग थोड़ा ऑफसेट उसको मेंबरशिप सब्सक्रिप्शन में मिल जाता है. लेकिन अगर किसी मेंबर ने ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस नहीं किया है, उतना ट्रांजैक्शन नहीं किया है, तो उसको मेंबरशिप पूरा लग जाता है. तो हम लोग का जो सिक्योरिटी सर्विसेज का जो हेड है उसके अंदर मेंबरशिप फीस भी आ जाती है. और लास्ट क्वार्टर में जो हम लोग एडजस्ट करते हैं उसके कारण हम लोग का सिक्योरिटी सर्विसेज फी हाई था वो टाइम पे. और अगर आप एप्पल टू एप्पल देखेंगे तो तीनों हम लोग का जो ओवरऑल इस क्वार्टर का जो इनकम है ट्रांजैक्शन चार्जेस में, वो लास्ट क्वार्टर से भी आज ज्यादा है और जून क्वार्टर से भी ज्यादा है लास्ट ईयर का.
हाँ, इक्विटी में, बट जो अभी ये क्वार्टर में हमने जो किया है वो सब डिजिटल सेटलमेंट हुए, उसमें कम चार्जेस लेते हैं हम लोग, हमारा.
हाँ, वो ठीक है, बट द पॉइंट इज दिस कि लास्ट टाइम जो मेरा वन टाइम का इनकम था जो जून क्वार्टर में था और लास्ट क्वार्टर में एडजस्टमेंट था, टाइम नहीं है ना.
ओके, उसके वजह से. हाँ. और हमारे ग्रुप वाइज चार्जेस सेम है या फिर अलग अलग है?
हमारे नहीं, जैसे कि हम लोग का नॉर्मल ग्रुप होता है वो हम लोग का वो एकदम कम चार्जेस होते हैं, अराउंड 300 रुपीज पर करोड़ होते हैं. अगर आपके थोड़े स्पेसिफाइड रेट है हमारा, थोड़ा सिक्योरिटी जो स्मॉल कैप में है, मिड कैप में जिसका लिक्विडिटी नहीं है, तो वहाँ हम लोग लाख रुपया पर करोड़ 10,000 रुपया पर करोड़ चार्ज करते हैं, और फिजिकल में उससे भी ज़्यादा चार्ज करते थे हम लोग. तो अभी इस टाइम जो देख रहे हैं वो लिक्विडिटी आप देखेंगे कि हम लोग का जहाँ लिक्विड स्टॉक्स है वहाँ पे हमारा वॉल्यूम ज़्यादा हुआ है. एंड दैट मीन्स कि भाई हम लोग का वॉल्यूम एक्चुअली जो कंप्यूटिंग एक्सचेंज का जो बिजनेस है उस हिसाब से बढ़ रहा है हमारा.
हमारे वेबसाइट पे भी चेक कर सकते.
ओके फाइन. तो मतलब यही ट्रेंड, मतलब अभी मतलब अगर नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर में सपोज इक्विटी टर्नओवर कम हुआ तो यहाँ से इक्विटी ट्रांजैक्शन इनकम भी कम हो जाएगा.
करेक्ट.
ओके. एंड आपने बोला था लास्ट क्वार्टर के कॉन कॉल में कि हम कुछ म्यूचुअल फंड के ट्रांजैक्शन एवरेज रियलाइजेशन पर ट्रांजैक्शन कम होने वाले हैं, तो ये क्वार्टर में कितना है?
नहीं, ये क्वार्टर में हम लोग ने कहा तो हमारे ट्रांजैक्शन तो बढ़ गए ना, फ्रॉम 122 लाख था लास्ट क्वार्टर में, उसका ये क्वार्टर में हम लोग का 186 लाख ट्रांजैक्शन हुए हैं.
हाँ, नहीं मैं रेट पूछ रहा हूँ, ये क्वार्टर में कितने हमने
रेट जो है हमने ये क्वार्टर में पुराना ही लगाया है, जो लास्ट क्वार्टर में लगाया था वैसा, क्योंकि कोविड था इसलिए हमने एमसी के लोगों को कहा था कि भाई हमको ये करने दीजिए. बट अब जुलाई महीने से उनकी इच्छा है कि भाई आप नए वाले जो कम वाले रेट है वो चार्ज करिए, तो इस हिसाब से हम नए वाले रेट चार्ज करने का ट्राई करेंगे. उनके साथ हमारी चर्चा हुई है इस सप्ताह में, अगले सप्ताह में मिलके वापस डिसाइड करके वी विल अनाउंस दैट.
ओके थैंक यू.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Shri Vallabh Kulkarni, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hey, hello. I have gone through those numbers. I feel it's really good, and I appreciate all of your efforts to compete with the tough competition with NSE and all those things. And I know it's not that easy to give the competition as we started very late. But I have two questions. What will be the roadmap? So first question is maybe just allowed, if I'm not wrong, if you confirm me also, that 15% equity stakes is allowed in BSE. So can't we first of all take the BSE stakes into our investment arm, so that because there are two benefits. One is that in dividend income of BSE will be always higher than the yield down the line, because due to COVID-19, I don't feel so RBI will increase the interest rate over the period of time. Second is that if down the line, if I'm not wrong, some strategic investor will come up, and if they would like to come, we can sell that stake and we will get the higher benefit of it. So this is my first question. And second question is for the Sensex. I know Sensex we launched, but we lagged once again. So we launched Sensex 50, but I feel that if we launch like a mini option, like Sensex 30 divided by 10, it will be the quote, then it will be like a US 500, so it will be like a very easy for you, like a trader or anyone to track that out to trade. Because most of the time people will bit difficult for quote that big number most of the time, but it's not the case. Only that we started very late, due to which it happens, I understand. But can we start doing like that? Is it possible? So these are the two questions.
See, Sensex trading is still on, and some people may still select to trade in Sensex 30 rather than Sensex 50. So it's up to them. And if we reduce the number by 1/10 or 100, it doesn't, people are trading gold at 50,000 rupees also today, right? So that number business is somewhere, basically, if we try to do too many activities at the same time, it may confuse the sort of participants very badly. And that's where I think, in a way, Sensex 50 has a pretty much similar number as Nifty. And that's why probably people are also using it to move from one settlement to another, because NSE has a Friday to Thursday settlements, and BSE has Tuesday to Monday settlements. So because of that, people take position in one and go into another when the settlement comes, and so on and so forth. So that seems to be happening, and that's why BSE's volumes in Sensex 50 have increased pretty much. Today also it costs 60,000 crore rupees in notional value. So it looks as if that seems to be the case, but you never know what has happened. The second portion of the first portion was about basically BSE buying shares and keeping it in an investment company, like what some old companies used to do, as shares kept in trust, and they don't get extinguished. But BSE does extinguish shares, whatever it buys back. So it has bought back shares over last 2 years each year, and all those shares have been extinguished. So anytime anyone strategic partner comes in case, we may be able to issue new shares, right? So that's not a problem at all for a new strategic partner to come in. We don't have to keep the shares and try to earn income on that, which becomes like a circular earning. You giving dividend to yourselves. And so it's better to basically keep clean balance sheets, clean everything, because we are also, in a way, a regulator. And that's where a lot of transparency is required in our operations. Otherwise, people may also raise questions on that.
Okay. I got that point that Sensex 50 is like somewhat similar to Nifty 50, but I know it's you're trying to push that one on Monday delivery. It's quite a good step. Only one, I know you said that Sensex 30, if we quote price is divided by 10, and if we keep it up to 3 decimal, can't be, and whenever, because why I'm saying that, when it will be easy for people, and I don't want BSE to lose out the Sensex 30, which is like brand of Sensex or the brand of BSE, because whenever NSE says it's a Nifty 50 and if we are saying Sensex 50, people will say we are like a copycat of NSE. We would like to maintain that Sensex. I know you Sensex 30 is there, but liquidity is not there. So I'm just trying to provide anything like that. We can come into the picture, something like Sensex 50, and that will bring out the bigger volume. And if we launch as a Sensex mini or something like that, which is very low in quantity, so that it will be cost like a silver yum. If you take the MCX, silver yum, silver, there are several options are there. Even in UK and US, if you see the US 500 mini or those kind of options are there, we can launch in that way, and we will keep our Sensex 30 is like a major index, so that people will. I know we started with late, due to which everything happens like that. But I feel that there is hope still that we can try. I don't know. I'm just proposing. I know.
No, I agree.
Easy. It's not that easy to quickly get that point and bring out the market share very easily. But I'm just thinking that Sensex 30 has to be indexed from BSE. I don't want. I would like to bring that one only. And what happens? Another stuff is that whenever you launch that Sensex or Sensex 50, I can't access that one from Zerodha or Upstocks because the brokers are not providing those feeds to my account. Even I'm very interested to take a trade, I can't trade. So either you have to make it mandatory for the broker, either you have to give that access. It's for me whether to check whether its liquidity is there or not there. But what broker is doing is that they are suppressing at their level. So even, I don't know, now I can see always that people are trading Sensex 50, but either those are like a out of, like a, if you see 10,600, then it's always like quoting very, very less number. We have to bring the retail investor also. Sometimes I feel people, whenever retail investor will come in, the volume will jump in. I feel so in that way. I'm like layman, but I feel this kind of thing, if we do it, then we have to force the broker, we have to stick to our strategy. I am not saying that Sensex 50 is bad. Sensex 50 is perfect, but we have to have another index which is like a brand of our BSE.
Thank you.
Which is already there.
So we appreciate your reasons and all. And we'll take up with Zerodha also. And sometimes what happens is the parents have a lot of hope on one child, which is very bright. But the second child, who is ignored, starts doing well. And parents still keeps on putting a lot of money into the brighter child, who may not be able to earn much. So that seems to have happened with us. Sensex, we have spent a lot of time. But Sensex 50 we didn't spend, and suddenly it has become successful. So sometimes, on our expectations are on one person and the other person starts doing well. All these things happen. We have to accept life as it comes. Of course, we must put money into the brighter child also, which we will continue to do. But if some Sensex 50 is also becoming successful, we shouldn't try to stop it from being successful. Right? So we'll take up with Zerodha and other brokers to allow you to trade there also on Sensex 50. Thank you.
Thank you. I would request Mr. Kulkarni to rejoin the queue for follow-up questions. We'll take last 3 questions now. The next question is from the line of Pritesh Vora from Mission Holdings. Please go ahead.
Sir, thank you for the opportunity. What is our BSE's net cash to the net cash of the company? Not the broker's money, I'm just net cash which is there on our side.
Yeah, it is, as I mentioned earlier, it is around 1,400 crores.
On consolidated basis, how much it is? Consolidated basis, how much it is?
Consolidated it will be 1,600 crores.
How much?
1,600.
1,600 crores.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And sir, how about this? Do we have because commodity you mentioned about gold and silver doing very well and other thing. But in the presentation, you have not mentioned anything on the commodity side of the thing. So please, next time, please do mention something on the commodity also.
Thank you.
Sure.
I think you have pointed a good point.
Thank you.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Deepak Mehta, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the follow-up question. So I would like to ask, what is the market share of BSE in commodity, especially in USD INR, sir?
Samir?
Yeah. So for the commodities, today at this point of time, BSE is 7.42% as far as the entire commodity market share is concerned, and it is the second largest exchange for commodities. It is grown as the second largest exchange in commodities. In fact, in this is I'm talking about overall commodity basket, but if you specifically see after the products, in the gold itself, at the entire product basket, gold it is 22%, and for the gold mini, which we have launched the gold mini options on good contract, there we have surpassed the competitive exchange also. We are 58% there.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
Thank you. The next question is from the line of Rahul Koti, an individual investor. Please go ahead.
Hello all. Can you people hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Hello all. Congratulations on a good set of numbers.
Thank you.
So I would like to give a suggestion, but it might sound like a layman suggestion, but still I want to put it forward. So what I see is during when I trade on any broker platform, right? So the default option what we have is of our competitor. So can we not have a BSE as a default option for trading or for investment, by giving them some incentives or some subsidies, so to increase our equity number, which we are currently lagging. Can we not work on that front? Thank you.
Yeah, we are not allowed to give specific incentives to any broker. Whatever incentives we are allowed is only in derivatives. That also, it has to be applicable to all and not to a particular broker or something. And so equities, we are not able to give those incentives. Still many of them are changing it to neutral at least, if not giving preference to BSE. But it's a slow process. They have to also change their technology. And some of them have done it, which is, we are thankful to them. But most, as you rightly said, have not yet moved. At the same time, new SEBI regulations force all the brokers to give the best price to the customers, irrespective of whichever exchange it is on. So hopefully, if they change their software, give best price, many times people will be able to trade on BSE. And it doesn't matter where they trade because the clearing and settlement is happening from one single place. So hopefully, everyone will start trading on BSE at some point.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Members of the management, we don't have anyone in the question queue. Should we conclude the call now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you like to add any closing comments?
No. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. On behalf of BSE Limited, that concludes this conference. Thank you for joining us, and you may now disconnect your line.